Amen. Let's give Pastor Washington a big hand.
First of all, good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
I'm waiting for somebody to get it started. Well, let me get it started. When we talk about rural ministry, one of the things I have on my presentation is simply this. I have on there, is there a difference between rural ministry and urban ministry? If we're not careful, we will down ourselves believing that because we're in a rural area, we cannot do the ministry that God has called us to. In all my Bible study classes, no matter what we do, they know the first thing I do is I come up with Matthew 28, 19 through 20. It is the Great Commission. This is what God has called us to do. One of the things, it does not matter what size church we have. It's what we do with what God has given us. Amen. I believe that in every church, there ought to be a ministry outside of the walls of the church. We spend a lot of time fussing about the budget. We spend a lot of time fussing about funds. But how often do we fuss about souls that are not being saved? A lot of times, even in our meetings. So they know at the meeting that St. Peter's now, I tell them that we're going to talk about the budget for a little bit, what we need to do for a little bit, and then we're going to go into what we really need to do for the church. Because if I stay on that fund, we don't ever go nowhere. We'll be right there. Thank y'all so much. So much. Ministry to rural church. Is there a difference between urban ministry and rural ministry? Is there a difference between urban ministry and rural ministry? Next. Urban ministry versus rural ministry. The reality is there is not a great difference between the two. We make it a difference, but it's not a great difference between the two. Why is that, Greg? Because of the fact that we are doing ministry. Ministry is ministry. I don't care where you're doing it at. It's just how you're doing it. That's the only difference it is. Ministry is ministry. And one of the problems we have in our churches, we are not doing a lot of ministry in our churches. We can sit there, you can look at me, and all I got to tell you is to look around. Look around at the number of people who are here this morning. We got to get our people engaged in ministry. Amen. And all I did was, I broke it down a little bit. Urban churches are located within a city or town, basically. In rural ministry, we just drive a little far. We just drive a little forward. Isn't that right? You don't, resources for rural ministry do exist. They do exist. The problem is, we have not made the contact of all of the resources in our church. We got people in the church who know some stuff. And all they've been doing is sitting there like this and looking at you. They're just looking at you. Amen. I want to brag here for a little bit, and then I'm continuing. What I mean about that is Sister Delphine Scott over here. When I came to St. Peter, they said she's been doing it, but she hadn't been doing it. And as soon as I found out she was good at what she was doing, I said, there is no way I'm going to allow you to sit on the sideline with this powerful ministry that you have. Pastor, let me say something. When we give someone something to do, you cannot micromanage them. You can manage them. You can manage to know what's going on. But when you start micromanaging a person, I mean, they make one step left and they make another step right, that's why they're going to quit. They're just going to throw their hands up. But when we give them the opportunity to showcase what they can do, Lord knows you just jump in on there and you say, I'm going with you. My task is to guide you to make sure we don't go too far right or too far left. And we make sure we stay where we at. So resources for the root ministry do exist. There are so many resources out there. St. Peter, we've been doing it for 3 months now. We're in our third month. Right? We're in our third month, right? 3 months ago, we started a Meals on Wheels program at the church. We are by ourselves on Bull Swamp Road. You know, I always say we're in the triangle. Calhoun County, Lexington County, Orangeburg County. And what we decided to do was, let's find some way that we can reach beyond the wall. Now someone can say, man, what you get? The people in the church saw the need and saw the good of it, and they came on board. See, churches, let me tell you something. If you keep looking for the church to finance everything and you think we got it, we don't have it. Sometimes it's going to take you and your sacrifice to make it. You don't know what's going to happen a few years down the road. Right now, we started off, I think we had about maybe 18 people. Last Wednesday, this past Wednesday, they prepared 47 meals. All right. 47 meals. And let me tell you, it is not just St. Peter's members. They got members out there in the community. As a matter of fact, we got a call. Somebody said, well, I know somebody. And I told I was telling my wife, along with the missionary, I said, we got to keep it at this number for right now. I don't want that number to get crazy and we cannot fulfill what we're doing and it drops. So I say, leave it at that number. Just let people know we're working in that direction. What I'm saying is, the problem exists in our belief. We say we trust him. There's a lot of ministers in here, pastors in here right now. They're going to go back to their church and they're going to lay out what needs to happen. And when we in church, we shouting and we hallelujah, throwing God high fives, and all of a sudden the pastor, we got to get this done. And all of a sudden, all the beliefs go out the door there. Yeah. Then the pastors left there by themselves a lot of time. The problem exists in what we really believe. Yeah. I just wanted to put these up here for you.
Good members in the city.
I want y'all to look at something here. This is some of the rural churches. Yeah. In rural areas. You most can tell them that we got cemeteries around. Right up to the door. Y'all please forgive me. I always tell my members just before I say stuff that may cost me. Y'all please forgive me. But I really have a problem sometimes with cemeteries that close to the door. Amen. The last thing I want to see when I'm leaving church is the cemetery. And I want y'all to pay attention. Most churches that have cemeteries around them, have surrounded them, are dying. Yeah. And you're reminded of death every time you open the door. Yeah. So be mindful. People, members, be very mindful when we build new churches. They got a lot of perpetual care places out there now. They will do a better job than what we'll do. Amen? Amen. Get to that. I'm just showing you, I want you to get a good look at it. Go to the next one. Isn't that a beautiful? That's in a rural area. Go to the next one. Now, this is what we used to think of rural churches, ain't it? They don't look like that no more. Matter of fact, is this a rural area here? Yeah, look at this church here. What is a rural church? This is how most people view a rural church. We got to get our mindset differently. Next. Now I want you to define a rural church. I did it by defining a rural area. In general, a rural area is a geographical area that is located outside towns and cities. Using the definition of a rural area, then we must know that a rural church is one that is located in areas outside of a town or city limit. We cannot say that the size of a church determines if it is a rural church. That does not determine it. It just is geographical location. Next. What is ministry? See, we got to learn how to define things. So a lot of times we doing stuff and we don't define. Amen? Y'all talking about pet peeves. One of my pet peeves is every time we do something in the church, we call it a program. We call it a program. Am I correct? 90% of us call and say, yeah, I'm going to that. I'm going to be in the program this afternoon. And so when I'm thinking of program, I'm thinking just going in, getting happy, and go home. But when I look at what is ministry, the easiest definition of ministry is to serve. Is to serve. And so you got to rethink our mind on rural ministry. Amen? If you don't do it, you ain't going nowhere. Us pastors, we got a hard enough time just trying to get something going. We need our members to begin to, that's what Doc is doing. Spiritual formation is transforming our mind from what it used to be to what God say it should be. Amen? And so the easy definition of ministry is to serve. And then I went back and I said, serve, what it is about serving? Let's look at Matthew 25, 35 through 36. For I was hungry, and you gave me something to eat. I was thirsty, and you gave me something to drink. I was a stranger, and you invited me in. I needed clothes, and you clothed me. I was sick, and you looked after me. I was in prison, and you came to visit me. When we talk about ministry, that's ministry. And let me say something to you. I told them this the other day. Once again, every time I do something, I put a disclaimer there. I say, please forgive me. Don't be too mad with me. This is what I say. I told my Bible study class this. And some of them here tonight, so I ain't got to tell them no story. Amen? I say, we really don't do a lot of ministries like we should be. On Sunday afternoon, what we do, Sunday, what we do after service on Sunday? A lot of us ain't going home already. What else you do on Sunday? What do y'all have going on Sunday? What you got? All evening long, am I right? By the time you get out of church on Sunday, about 12, 1 o'clock, you be looking at your watch because somebody got someplace to go about 2 o'clock. And then you look again, you got to be somewhere at 3 o'clock. I said, how much ministry are we really doing? We're going to a lot of programs. And I call them programs, but once it's over with, we through with that. We're going to the next one, am I right? But how many of us after service on Sunday get a group together and say, you know, Sister so-and-so down the street here, I haven't, you know, she was going to church somewhere, but I don't see her going to church anymore. She's sick. She can't. How many of us really get up and get a group together and say, let's ride down to Sister so-and-so house? Boy, y'all got kind of quiet.
Well.
My church, I don't like to talk about the good old days. But what I love to talk about is that concept and that base that I received coming up. And so I told them my grandmother taught me about ministry, how to do mission work. I went to my home church is Mount Pisgah, Dixie, right off the interstates. Back in the days, I was about 8 years old, 7 years old. But I can remember that because it was just the impact she had in our lives. We would finish worship service. We'd get home about 1:30. And my mother would tell us all to go in the house and change our clothes. We thought we were getting ready to go outside and play. Man, we were getting ready for it. All of a sudden, my grandmother said, "Y'all ready? 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 Ready for what? Y'all ready to go?" Every Sunday, from about 1:30 till about 4:30, we walked the community. Not only did she visit the members of the church that she was in, but she had us to visit people who were in a certain vicinity of that community. We walked. Wasn't no ride. We walked. And now we got cars. Oh, I'm sorry.
2 and 3.
Just want to show you a little bit of what some of the ministries that St. Peter does. It's two things. One, every November, we have a very generous and a very kind member. He's not here. He's up in North Carolina. But every year, he donates through the church, through the organization, to do turkey giveaways. And I'm thinking it's about 200, ain't it? It's about 200 certificates that he give away at $25 a piece. $25 a piece. He gives that. He'll do 500. And he got certificates that he gives. And on my first Sunday there, I'm sitting there and everybody say, you know, people start whispering. There was no something now. I say, I heard y'all say something. Where y'all going? They say, we're going to North. I said, what's in North? Oh, we're going to, I said, can I go? Y'all don't want me to go. Y'all don't want me to be with y'all. I can't go. What it is? Tell me about it. Y'all don't like me or something? I'm just going to work down here. And that's how St. Peter met me, y'all, for the first time. And they said, yeah, man, come on. We went out, and you see the group here? In a matter of about an hour, I think they gave over 200 certificates away. Amen. I just want to show you the Meals on Wheels. We talked with Adele about he keeps saying, and we keep waiting for him. He said he's going to be driving through there, he's going to call us up. He said he won't have a plate ready for him. When he told him to come through, I guarantee you we'll feed you. But that is part of the ministry that we got. We're not through yet. God is blessing us, and we're looking at other ministry. Sister Scott is doing a ministry for us of our website. We are on the web, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and no doctor. No, Dr. Witherspoon.
No, not now, but later.
Tell Dr. Witherspoon, no. How do we start a ministry in our church? Real quick, we must have a vision for ministry. Once the vision is identified, pray over and for it. Remember, the vision was given to you to share once you understand it. I'm talking to pastors. Don't say I got a vision and you don't even understand it at all, and you throw it on somebody. Just make sure you understand what the vision is, so when you take it to the people, they can understand. We cannot be afraid of the vision. Understand there's work with the vision. Please understand that ministry outside the wall will make you uncomfortable. Yes. I love that word, uncomfortable. In closing statement, Matthew 28, 19 through 20. We are mandated. We are mandated. Now, I want y'all to say that with me. We are mandated. Why did I make you say that? It's because after you done shouted, after you done sung all day, after you done did all what you're going to do, after you done raise your hand, when all of that is over with, the mission must still go on. Every church is able to do ministry in a rural area. I don't care who you are. Sometimes it don't cost you a lot. Sometimes it's just what I said. After church on Sunday, you ride down the road anyway. What's stopping you from stopping and asking somebody how they doing today? Are you afraid they're going to ask you for stuff? This one here, my wife read, what do you mean by that? I was one person cannot be an all go-to person. Amen. You cannot have one person in the church is that all go-to person. Because I never can have one person on the district be an all go-to person. Because after a while, you're going to get burned out. You get tired. You know, it's just like a pastor. You remember, we may not understand it, but every now and then, you remember, you have to bring somebody in to preach on Sunday. You they get tired of hearing you. Y'all looking at me, I'm crazy. But they get tired. Don't think y'all that. We ain't all that. And sometimes when you think you done done your best, you ain't done that. And sometimes when you think you hadn't done your best, somebody say, you saved me. Yeah. So you cannot sit there and qualify what was good. Nah, you let God deal with that. Yeah. Make sure there is a balance in our ministry. You can't be all one way and not the other. In other words, I can't go out and do ministry all outside of the wall. I got to go inside of the wall and do ministry. Yeah. Help me out now. One of the, after you're going into the altar down beside me, I got a board there, and it's called the vision for, I got a vision for St. Peter. And one of the visions I got on there for myself is to make sure that I minister to every member that was in confine of that church, making sure that I touch base with them. Pastors, I don't care what you do, you got to make sure, even the least of them you may think, you got to make contact with them. You got to go and say, how you doing this morning? You will be amazed to know how powerful that is. And last but not least, we must find ways to integrate back. You heard us say that. I didn't say integrate into. I say back into the community. Remember, when our churches was built, there were communities all around. The people have left, and the church, we decided to stay there. And so now we got to find a way to get back into our community. Thank you so much.
Let's give the pastor a good hand.